you could almost been paralyzed. You can never play football again. And It's something where you have to be in a neck brace for 25 weeks. And
welcome once again to another episode of CEOs Wear Sneakers. And as you know, we interview young CEOs, hustlers, entrepreneurs and bosses on this podcast. And today we're joined by a great example of that, Casey Adams.
It's funny how it happens. Like the first day, sophomore year of, I was about to go join the varsity team, super pumped up, trained the entire summer, and it was just another day, go to practice, and my helmet wasn't actually on properly. And as I hit my head on the ground, they called it fragmented my ligament, which is pretty much, it didn't tear it because I could have been paralyzed if it teared it fully. But they said I was super blessed to not be paralyzed. So just hearing that, and you could almost been paralyzed. You can never play football again. And It's something where you have to be in a neck brace for 25 weeks. And literally just hearing that news, it took me off guard. I didn't really know what to expect. And it was those 25 weeks that I was depressed. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And it was funny how it all came about, because those were the weeks that, while me just being this young 15-year-old kid on social media, started seeing people like Gary Vee and all these entrepreneurs and just starting to absorb their content. It was literally like the best 25 educational weeks of my life looking back.
You know, the entrepreneur content or the stuff you were reading, did you seek it out, or you just kind of, fell into it as you're looking around the web?
Yeah, so for sure. So, I mean, for me, it's funny because, I mean, obviously a lot of young kids that were 15 at the time, and everyone's on social media, but not for a purpose, right? So I don't know the exact time frame, but it was during the 25 weeks where I started seeing different ads from people like Grant Cardone or Gary Vee, or did they just start popping up on my feed? I don't exactly know what it was, but it was one of those things where I didn't read a lot at the time, but after listening to people like Gary, I remember the first book I read was Crush It by Gary Vee, and that book's obviously all about personal branding, and at the time I obviously wasn't putting out content on social media and trying to build a brand, build an audience. I was just on there looking at celebrities or my friends, or didn't really look at it from that angle. So that book itself, I remember I picked it up, I read through it in like a week because I literally couldn't move and do anything. And it was that like pivot point that now looking back, it's like that was like the seeds planted to start building this brand that has now been super fun to do.
You weren't actually building any social media presence before. You were just kind of like regular 15-year-old kid.
100%. Absolutely. Like literally zero thought process to ever do that, and never really understood it. But it's like
just mindless looking at Instagram like the rest of us do.
I mean,
like us normal folk.
Guilty.
Yeah, like nothing. At the time, it was literally no incentive to build anything except for when I read Gary V's book. It was like, wow, like there's some stuff to be done.